everyone, I am here with Jordan and Kiernan, all of the way from the southern U.S. from Adworks. So thank you both so much for coming.
Hi.
Yeah, pleasure to be here.
They came specifically to do some training for us, which went over really well. Your team was fantastic pulling everything together, so thank you for all of that.
Yeah,
but because you were here, and because they're not always here, I figured that it'd be nice to have you on CIR Live to just get your expertise a little bit on Adworks. And you guys are used to hearing me talk about why I love online marketing so much, but you're probably sick of me talking about it. So we figured we'd give you some fresh faces, which you guys definitely are. So just quickly, and you guys can kind of decide who wants to answer these questions. But from your perspective on online marketing in general, what is it that you think makes Adworks different than just your, I'm going to set up an ad on Google or set up an ad on Facebook? Especially for real estate specifically.
Yeah, I think what you want as any professional human, but certainly as a real estate agent, you want to spend as little time and as little effort on advertising as possible, right?
Yeah.
So there are thousands, millions maybe of digital advertising options, and they have all of these very cool, unique features, and you can pull all these levers. And our goal is just to give you exactly what you need and to make sure that you don't really have to spend any time doing it, right? So that's our big difference, I would say.
Yeah.
We talk about being brilliantly simple, and that's really what we come home to. That's our big goal.
I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I know too that it's one thing to run ads on different platforms, but you guys have partnerships with literally, I think it's like 96% of the internet. So that is all of those websites plus all of the social media stuff. So setting one listing, open house, just sold up on Adworks is, you're done.
You're done.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have to predict where the right person is going to be online. That's a lot of work, and it would take all sorts of algorithms. So if you can say, hey, I really want to find someone in this area who's looking to buy or sell a home, and then we find them for you.
So speak to that, just for the people that don't know, and some of you might, but speak specifically to the demographics that you guys are going after. So for these 1 week ads, the ads that are being extended, it's not just everyone who's on CNN that day that sees an ad.
Right. So for our Just Listed program, which is really the core of any of our enterprise partnerships, the way that we're targeting is through both geo-targeting and behavioral targeting. So we're getting in front of the right audience by focusing on an area that is directly within a small radius of that specific listing. And then we're also kind of analyzing behavioral data online to say, okay, this person is potentially in the market for real estate based on this behavior online. Whether they're looking at mortgage calculators or new school districts or whatever it might be, we've been able to say, okay, this person is going to be a much more valuable audience for someone who's running a Just Listing ad.
That's fantastic. So those, and I think that the numbers, correct me if I'm wrong, but for the 1 week automated Just Listed campaigns we run, it's 7,000 impressions in that 1 week.
That's correct.
So all 7,000 of those impressions are only coming from people that have expressed behaviors that they're in the market to buy or sell. Otherwise, those people would not be seeing the ad.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think for that reason, that's really one of the reasons why we see typically 2 to 3 times the industry average click-through rate with all of our ads, right? So we're seeing a lot more promising behavior on the ads. We're not just putting them out in front of everyone.
In the training we did this morning, we had a couple people logging into their CIR Adworks accounts, which is where you guys go to see all the details of the ads that you have running with us. And there was one lady that had 59 clicks, another man had 29. There was a girl who's just started running yesterday that already had 6 clicks. And I don't know if you guys, for any of you who don't do online marketing, you might be like, oh, like in a week it only got 29 clicks. Real estate advertising typically has less than a 0.5% click-through rate. It is literally that dismal. So for in a 1 week period to be getting those types of numbers from targeted people clicking on ads really is unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's so good. I love it.
And I think on top of that, if I'm a real estate agent, I want as many people to see the home as possible. But more than that, I want to delight my seller. I want to keep them really happy and excited. And I know you said that there's quite a bit of inventory right now. So if I'm holding on to a property and doing my best to convey that I'm the top agent and that I'm doing everything for this client, we hear so many stories of sellers calling their agent and saying, how did you get my house on this major website? And that's the magic moment. That's what you want to see.
Well, and I love how you said major website, because you're right. People, and the point of this, and I don't want to come across as being misleading or deceiving, because that is absolutely not the point of this, but the average person thinks if their home is on HGTV or the Food Network or even something like the CalgaryHerald.com, these are big, big media websites. And typically the ads you're seeing on these websites are for Costco or Ford vehicles, or like they're big advertising names with really big budgets that typically need to buy into these domains in order to be able to take advertising space on. So for you guys to be able to put ads that, one realtor and one home on these places that's next to a multi-billion-dollar company who is running an ad of the same size, it looks really impressive.
Yes. That's the goal. You want them laying in bed at the end of the night and scrolling through, maybe it is Calgary Herald, and talking to their spouse in the bathroom and saying, oh my gosh, come here, our house is on this huge website, and then they can share it on their social media. It's great.
Yeah.
It's a great cycle.
So talk to that for a second. So right now we have, and most of our agents are actually using Adworks, which is fantastic. Great. Literally, money savings. The pricing we have with you guys is phenomenal. It is so easy. We're thrilled. So a lot of you guys are using this anyway. So this isn't meant to be salesy because you're already using it, but just context of the how and the why behind it. So but the one thing that we are lacking a little bit on is incorporating sellers' email addresses. So when somebody opts in to run a just listed or a just sold or an open house campaign, there's an option, it's not mandatory, for them to include their seller's email or not. Right now, I would say about 50% of our agents are including that seller's email and the other 50% aren't. Would you just speak to why, in your opinion, you should include it? I mean, it's personal decision. You all have your reasons, but just for those of you that aren't, maybe what you might be missing.
Sure. So I think Jordan just spoke to it, and it's really that magic moment. If we have your seller's email tied to that specific listing that we're running, we'll be able to actually target them with their own ads. So we'll be able, when the seller is laying in bed at home reading the news, we'll be able to show that ad to them, which is great. And that's really where we hear some of this tremendous feedback, and it's where agents start getting that text or that screenshot that's sent over from their agent, or the seller receives it from their agent, and it's saying, wow, I can't believe you were able to get me on CNN, 2 days after you won my listing.
Yeah. Which is, you're right, which is huge.
Yeah, and it's everyone's personal decision, but we've worked with a couple 100,000 agents, and what I would say is the value really does come from wowing your seller. I would pay double the price just for the seller to be targeted with their ad, right? Even if there were no click-throughs or impressions or link to any website, that is actually the core value.
To be able to see it and to know the effort that you're putting into that. And then the seller's reports too, where if you enter their emails, they're getting that report every morning, and it shows, it gives them an example of sites that their listing would have been on, and it also shows how many impressions would have been received up until that point and how many clicks would have been up until that point, which is great because it shows that the house is actively being marketed, and they're typically really impressed, right? Within this many days of the home being active on MLS, you've already gotten this much traffic, not just from your network, not just from Realtor.ca or crrealty.ca, but other people who aren't on those traditional websites that are interested in this property. So the seller's email is pretty great. Those reports, and then it's just another step that the agent doesn't have to do.
Yeah, it's a bit of a babysitter. I mean that kindly, but it takes care of your clients when you're off doing other things. And I think something else that I talk about a lot just in general is if you're going to use anything, make sure it's working for you in as many ways as possible. So if you take the seller report, for example, seller wakes up, gets all of this great information, they can post that ad on social media, right? So there's a little share button. So not only are they continuing that advertising cycle, all of their friends who might need an agent are seeing this, right? They're seeing the seller excited and on Facebook saying, my agent is amazing, look where our house is, and you're building referrals. And so I think the more you can squeeze out of a single product, the better.
Yeah, that is really, really good. So we recently just launched open house ads and just sold ads, which we're excited about. We haven't done too much talking about it just because we're still making sure everything is working, but I think everything is working. But that's why we haven't gone through the rooftops. But you're here, so I do want to talk about it. So the open house ads, which is pretty new, I don't think that there's too many brokerages in Canada who have, from an enterprise level, who have put that on yet. So we're really excited about it.
Yeah.
So what's different about those versus the just listed ads, or is it the same targeting? How does that work?
So the targeting in terms of geography and behavior online is the same.
Yeah.
But it's a 3-day campaign. It's run for 2 days leading up to the open house and then the day of the open house.
Nice.
And it's really meant to just increase awareness that there's an open house on that listing and hopefully drive some additional traffic.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I know that our pricing on that, we already have discounted pricing from Adworks, and then we have to convert everything into Canadian dollars. So I mean, it's all a bit of a thing. But the open house pricing that we're able to give you guys for that 3-day ad is 40 Canadian dollars, and it is all done for you, which is fantastic. Like, it is the easiest open house advertising you will honestly ever do. So in order, just a quick note on that, and I don't have anything to show you, but in the marketing section of the virtual office, smack dab in the middle, there's a big circle, and we've created a landing page for Adworks open houses. And that's where, if you have an open house coming up, you guys can log into that and then enter your MLS number, submit it to Adworks. We'll send it out. You do need to submit an open house ad, either, I would say, the Sunday, the Monday, the Tuesday, or the Wednesday at the latest, because it does run for 3 days. Mm-hmm. So obviously you can't submit an open house ad on a Thursday for an ad that's going to run, on a Saturday, because you just aren't going to have 3 days for it. So all those instructions are on there, but it does work a little bit differently. The just listed ads is right on your trade record sheet. That's where you opt in, so it's super easy. The open house one is a little bit more of a manual process, because we don't know when you're going to be doing that based off of our data feeds. And then the just sold ads run very similar to the just listed listed campaigns. Mm-hmm. And as soon as you sell a property, we have it where we will send you guys an email to your cirealty.ca email accounts. And we just let our agents know, hey, congratulations, you've had this property sell. Click this button, and we will send this to Adworks. And then within the 24 hours, we'll have that feed up. And then you guys can go in and monitor all of those ads, change stuff on your back-end system. But those work pretty similar.
Yeah. I love it. If you sell a house, tell people.
Yeah.
That's when you should be advertising, right?
Yeah,
I agree.
So,
definitely.
Well, and especially in a market like we have right now, where there is a lot of inventory, sales have been a little bit slower. Like, sold listings are a big deal. Not all listings on all streets are selling right now. So to be able to do that in a geo-targeted area is definitely pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Actually, that reminds me of another piece of making it work for you and keeping it all very easy. And so if someone has opted in and they have an Adworks account with any of these ads, we've created a little video. And so what this does is, if you're at some sort of listing presentation and you're trying to win a listing, there's a video or a little one-sheeter that you already have. It's already branded. It has all of your information on it.
Oh, wow.
You click play, and it says exactly what this Adworks ad will do, right? So instead of you having to remember all of the technical details, because again, our game is keep it easy, you play the video. It's like a minute long, I think. And it's a woman saying, hey, if you choose this agent, your house is going to go on websites like this, and you'll get this kind of reporting.
So where do our agents find that video? Is it in their dashboards?
It is. So there's a little link section. I don't know.
Right-hand side of the page.
Yeah.
Okay, so somebody logs in to their thing.
To their Adworks account.
To their Adworks account, and on the right-hand side,
there should be a little box. I can't remember if it's gray or green, but it's there, and it'll have a link to the listing presentation video.
Perfect. Yeah. That's really great, and then they can download that and use it.
Yeah,
Oh,
and there's a PDF as well, right? So it's a lot to remember all of the details, and your seller's going to ask, what kind of websites? Does it include this? Does it include that? And so we've gone ahead and built it out, and you can slide it right across the table.
That is fabulous.
Yeah.
Cool, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming all the way down to Calgary for 2 days just to see us.
It's
we
beautiful.
really appreciate it.
Yeah, happy to be here.
And for you guys, so you know, if you ever have any issues, support@adworks.com is a great email address to try and use. They are typically a lot faster at troubleshooting issues than we are. But if there's something that seems very wrong, obviously feel free to reach out to me, and we'll work with Kirsten and Jordan to make sure that things are resolved quickly. You guys do a really great job of making sure that things are resolved quickly. There's surprisingly a lot of moving pieces when it comes to data and automatically creating things. So as we go through this process of a brokerage to try and make things easy for you, sometimes we do have a couple glitches along the way, but it's because this stuff's really hard. And we have to do our best to make it work, and we're doing that. And
yeah,
that's that. So let us know. But I know that for the most part, nobody has any issues, which is good. But that's who you need to contact. And if you have any other questions about products or services, I don't want to keep you guys here forever, but I know that we've mentioned our Sphere of Influence campaign so that you guys can upload email addresses and, follow, your ads can follow around just your A and B list for clients. There's postal code ads that you guys can do. And all of that stuff is in your Adworks account. All the information for managing and adding campaigns. And if you ever have questions about how to do a better job at those, support at adworks.com is also a great place, and they can put you in touch with a coach that can help you set up some of those ads.
Yeah, the secret tip, we have a whole team of marketing specialists that sit right behind support. They're back to back, all in the same room. So if you call support, whether you have a question or you just want to say, hey, I'm running this Sphere ad, but I don't like how it looks. What do you think works? What are some industry standards? They're there for that purpose, and really that purpose alone. So they'll ask you questions about what's different about your business, and they'll look at your website, and they're there to help.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really good. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Okay, we'll be right back.